Hey guys, welcome back to Airsoftology Mondays, where I answer your questions, do a few tips, and just generally kind of kick back and get relaxed around here. I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs. So, we're back, another episode, and we've got a lot to fill this one up, a lot of questions, and we're going to be covering a couple little things in the tech side of the house as well. And this is one of the questions that we get a bunch, but we're not going to get to it quite yet. We're going to be kicking this thing off with your viewer questions. Sync Program writes, how much ammo should I bring to a skirmish? Are 5 120 round mid-cap magazines enough, or should it be more for about a 3+ hour milsim event? And hi from your fans in the Netherlands. Well, to be honest with you, it really depends on the game, how many players, and the scenario. I find myself going through a little bit more than that for like a 3-hour game. I mean, you get into one intense firefight and you definitely can blow through your ammo supply really quick, even if it's a semi-only restricted game. And if you're doing full auto and you're trying to do suppressive fire, you will cook through those mags in no time. Personally, I max out at whatever the game allows. So for example, American Milsim allows, I think, 1,500 rounds loaded into magazines. So I will max out everything I have, 12, 13 mid caps, whatever I can do to get that number on my person. They're kind of restrictive and they will actually make you only reload in respawn or back at the FOB. So you definitely want to be maxed out there. Some of the other events like John Liu events like Lion Claws and such, they'll let you carry as many as you want on you, and you can even reload in the field. So that changes the game a bit. I've seen guys show up, no joke, like all the way out to here, decked out with mags. It's insane, like 40 on them. That's overkill. Honestly, I'd run between 8 and 10 mid caps if you have the opportunity to. That's going to prevent you from having to reload, give you some extras to toss out to your teammates when they start running out of ammo in an intense firefight. And then of course, I mean, it's better to have more than less. And we're talking about airsoft here. These aren't extremely heavy magazines unless you have like a system of PTW or something like that. James Snowy writes, is there a good hard case holster for a DM40? And what are the best tips for maintaining a gas blowback pistol when using propane? So first, on the second part of that question, we're gonna hold that off till later. It goes with our tech tip section. And then the first part, when the DM40, it's a Springfield XD40 is pretty much what it is. You're gonna have a lot of holster options for that. Just about every major company is gonna make a holster that's gonna fit a DM40 or an XD40, but you need to make sure that the pistol width, sometimes the airsoft ones are a little wider or a little more narrow, and they could be a little different. So I would definitely try to bring that airsoft pistol unloaded and take it to a real firearm shop to try to fit it. Obviously carry it in a case, follow proper handling instructions, and let the people on the counter know what you're gonna be doing before you do it. They'll be more than happy to help. But if you're looking on something that's a little more universal, I know like the Kydex holsters are a lot more forgiving, and you know one of those is probably gonna fit, especially if it doesn't. You can always heat it up a little bit with a heat gun or something to stretch it back out or tighten it up. If you haven't looked, Blade Tech, fantastic holsters. Black Hawk, there's quite a few like the Serpas, Safariland. You can pretty much get anything you want for an XD40. NY Dallas Airsoft writes, do patches stick to your operator beard? I have no idea what you're talking about, man. No clue. Olympic Jesus Lizard writes, quick question, do you do any gaming on the desktops? First off, freaking awesome name, man. That thing is crazy. And yeah, to answer your question, I absolutely do. On these guys right over here over my shoulder, Battlefield 4 has actually been playing quite a bit of. I was in the Hardline Beta not too long ago. It's okay of a game. I just picked up Gary's mod, so Trouble in Terrorist Town is definitely going to be on my list. And if you guys aren't playing it, definitely check out Insurgency. It's one of my personal favorites. I'll play quite a bit with Jet and a lot of the other big airsoft names out there. Jet, Desert Fox, Del Castillo, and like some of the guys from ASG, Airsoft GI, I play with Bob and I play with Dan from over there. So definitely check out Insurgency. That's probably the most fun I've had, especially if you have a group of players to play with. And I'm on and off. Usually I'm on kind of late Central Time, but I play with a lot of West Coast guys. So it's pretty late when I do get to actually get on and play. And it's only a few times a week, really. Nicholas Mayfield writes, I'm wondering for a new player, should I get a full face mask? As a new player, absolutely, you're gonna want some sort of full face protection. It's very important. These guys are expensive to replace. Depending on the event, it really depends on what I wear, and it's really rare that I don't have some sort of face protection. The big milsim ops that are all outdoors, for example, like a broken home here that just happened, I'll typically run just a mouth guard, like one of those rubber ones that mold, you can get at Walmart or whatever, and they can actually put them in the hot water. That's the minimal I'll run because I want to protect my teeth. Typically the engagement distance there is so big, you're not going to get blasted up close. But pretty much any other event, and especially CQB, I'll do a couple different things. I'll run either like these are those really affordable lower metal face masks, these mesh ones. A company in the US called Bitter In Masks makes a really good version of these, like a real stepped up one that are custom. They build them to your specs. I used to have one, but it unfortunately got stolen. Freaking savages, man, I tell you. And then if you really want to step up, this is kind of the pinnacle of masks. I mean, it is definitely not cheap. These things are like $135, give or take. And this is the Dye i4 mask. And I'll use this when I play like really fast and run and gun CQB. But this one has probably been the most comfortable mask I've run to date. Well, that's it for the questions this week. I have so many good ones. In fact, I'm already building up a great backlog of fantastic questions and tech tips from you guys. Thank you so much for contributing. Remember, I read every single one that you post right down here below these videos. So remember, every Monday, put them in the comment section below. And if you see someone that's great and you want to see talked about, remember to vote those up. I'm going to be looking hard and heavy at those with high votes. And of course, those that are really creative and very specific. But now it is time for the tech tip of the week. This tip actually comes in from Nick L. Goes, hey, for a tech tip, propane versus green gas. I'm buying a GBBR and I want to know if propane will ruin my gun. Of course, it will be mixed with silicone. So the short answer is essentially propane is green gas and vice versa. They're made from almost the same identical chemical properties with a few slight variations. If you guys want a really fantastic article on that, Airsoft Innovations, the guys who do some of the products I'm going to show you here in a second, have a fantastic write-up where they actually sent the stuff off and had it analyzed. I have the link right here below us and in the show notes below if you guys want to go read it up, but I definitely suggest you give that a good look over. But since they're the same, absolutely, you can go either way. Personally, I just like the ease of using green gas. Everything is ready to go. So personally, just pick up a can at your local shop, use it. But on a gas blowback rifle, I know specifically that was your question, it does consume quite a bit of gas. And this can get kind of pricey. As much as I love to do it, it can cost you a bit of money, but from a maintenance standpoint, this is the absolute best way to go. It's gonna have the right mix of silicone and lubricants and all that in there. Plus, this doesn't stink. Propane does have that smell. I mean, you know what it smells like, rotten eggs or whatever it is. And that does stick in your magazines. And I tell you, no matter how much you use this after propane, it seems to kind of stick around forever. And that's unfortunate, having to deal with that smell. And on a gas blowback rifle, you're talking about putting out a lot of odor. But if you want to go the propane route, it's absolutely perfectly safe as long as, to your point, you lubricate with it. And there's a lot of different products out there to allow you to do that. The easiest thing, and I'm going to grab these for demonstration here, is just to get some really good silicone oil. This is Mad Bull, but like I said, Airsoft Innovations makes it. I've seen Murder Oil, I've seen a lot of different companies, but just get a specific liquid silicone oil like this that's actually designed for gas blowback guns. And then here on the fill valve, just put one little drop down in the fill, maybe two, depending on how big your magazine is. This is a normal size. If you're running a gas blowback rifle, like an M4 or an AK, I'd say about 2 drops. And then go about filling it normally using the propane tank. There's also propane adapters that you can get as well. Now, like I said, I've got the Airsoft Innovations version here, and you can always put a drop or two down in the nozzle. Now, this screws actually on top of the propane can and turns it pretty much into like a green gas can. So this thing works really well. I think Mad Bull has one that you can actually put the silicone in, like in a little area, and screw the cap shut, and it'll add it as you fill, which is a great touch as well. And then, of course, there is also this, and this again is Airsoft Innovations, and I swear I'm not sponsored by them, I just have a lot of their products, is called the gas can. And the way this works, it has a fill valve here on the bottom, and you actually can unscrew the top, and this one's empty. You would not be able to do this if it wasn't empty. Put a couple drops of oil in here, and there's actually instructions on how to put it. It's 2 drops of lightweight silicone oil, and they actually give you the silicone oil with this down in this can. And then what you can do here is fill this up with propane when you're done, And then what you have on the end here, let me take this cap off, is you have a fill valve that allow you to fill your magazines. Now this thing's only gonna give you about 1 gas blowback rifle fill, but it's a good emergency thing to keep on hand if you don't want to keep like a big can on you. But this will do about 3 or 4 pistol mags if that's something you guys are into. So I hope all that helps on the gas blowback. Remember though, if you guys are using propane, it's not lubricated, and if you run out of oil, let's say, spend a little extra time disassembling your gun and lubing those parts, and also clean the parts too. Propane typically is not going to be a clean a gas. They're not going to scrub it that well or filter it. I know a lot of some of the green gases out there are a little cleaner, I think just looking from deposits and such and just using guns really hard. But either way, no matter what you do, make sure you're maintaining your guns by cleaning them and keeping all the excess lubrication off as well. And last but not least, you can always use this stuff, brown gas. It is the best on the market. I'm kidding. But if you guys haven't watched the brown gas videos, a little shameless plug here for me. Definitely want to check this thing out. I had fun making it with a bunch of other guys. It's what happens when you've got a long time behind the steering wheel and you're driving to an event and mind's just running and it's just you in the car. You end up with crazy ideas like brown gas. But yeah, you can check out the video right here if you guys want to watch the brown gas video. Just don't mind the very lowbrow humor. Well, that's it for this episode, and now it's time for my video recommendation of the week, and it is actually playing over my shoulder right now. It's the Tactical Black Cats channel. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with them, they are actually a great team out of Europe. You want to go check them out. They're fantastic. I know I've been doing a lot of Europe-themed shout-outs here lately, but hey, you know what? These are some actually pretty good videos. And this is the latest one. It actually just came out today, the day I'm recording here on Monday, and it's called Airsoft 3.0, and they've kind of taken this spin on like using a heads-up display in Google Glass as well as using drone footage in futuristic airsoft play. It's kind of a neat little spin, and I thought it was a cool video. I was gonna share a different one with you guys, but I figured this one would be way better. So check it out, Tactical Black Cats. I'm gonna have a link to their channel here below, and of course you can click on this little video playing here right behind me, and you can watch the video right now, but not right now. You wanna finish this video first. Well guys, that's it for this episode of Airsoftology Mondays, and I wanna say thank you for supporting me by putting comments and actually asking questions, because without that, we wouldn't have a show to produce. I wouldn't be able to put anything out for you guys, and I really appreciate you all taking the time to stop and watch these videos every week, because without you, I sure as heck wouldn't be doing this. Also, if you want to support the show, hitting up the web store helps me out a bunch, like buying some of these patches and things like that. And you can hit them up here in the link below. And I've got a little gift for you guys. If you're watching today on Monday, the day of the release, you guys that are rabid fans, I've got a video for you. Remember last week I promised you the short dot? Well, I have the review video right here. It's unlisted, so only this link works until tomorrow. So you guys get a one-day sneak peek on the short dot video review because you guys voted it up. And the next one coming up from the list is gonna be the motor grip. We're gonna add it to our build. But until then, check out this video. And again, thank you for helping me pick out the first one to do the review on. So that's it, guys. I'll see you next week, but until then, play hard, play fair, and call your freaking hits.